We're back with the breakfast on Plus TV Africa, and we have Jide Johnson who joins us this morning. Jide, it's good to have you join us.
Good morning, Messi. Good morning, Kofi, and good morning to our viewers all over the world. It's a pleasure to be with you.
All right, let's take a quick look at the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, looking at the big stories or the headlines, if you like to say. Attacks, INEC holds emergency meeting today. That's following the attack on one of the offices in Ogun State. Records 47 incidents in 33 months. We should have actually learned something. Hoodlums touch Osun offices. IGP probes attack on Atiku's convoy. These are the riders underneath the bold caption. On the Daily Trust this morning, you have another header or caption saying dollar crashes to 730 naira at the parallel market. 2023, vote whomever you like, Buhari tells Nigerians. Okay. Contempt court sets aside EFCC chairman's conviction. Media holds roundtable on industry regulation. Elon Musk takes over. We're closely monitoring Twitter. That's what the federal government is quoted to say. And they've also stated that there are no intentions of banning Twitter. But some Nigerians are daring them to ban Twitter. Yobe State Governor, Honorable Malabuni, presented the 2023 Appropriation and Finance Bill to State House of Assembly in Damaturu. That's the much we can take this morning on the Daily Trust paper.
Let's go quickly to the Nation with these headlines. How Tinubu will actualize the plans on economy security. US-UK terror alerts. Those arrested will be prosecuted, says IG. Oni Adeye Ogunwusi and his men. It's an interesting one. I'm sure it will make the paper sell a few more copies. Details on page 41. Tinubu, I will complete Ajaokuta rolling mill. And arsonists burned 65,000 PVCs in Ogun INEC office, like we said on our trending story or segment this morning.
Well, we move away from that. We quickly take a look at the Leadership newspaper. We'll take one or two and then move away from that. On the Leadership, I beg your pardon, on the Guardian newspaper this morning, 65,699 PVCs burnt. Fear heightens after twin attacks on INEC office. INEC summons emergency security meeting today. Ogun CP, INEC's office need increased security. PDP, APC condemn attacks. Insecurity won't affect election census. Elections can't hold amid insecurity. Secure Nigeria now, Bishop tells the federal government, and PDP reinstates commitment to violence-free poll despite attack on his rallies. Election results cannot be influenced with BV or the Beavers, INEC reiterates. Now, we just take this one with trillions lost to failed and collapsed buildings. Stakeholders trade slippery road to recovery. These are some of the headlines you find this morning on the Guardian paper.
All right, let's quickly go over to the next paper, which is the Punch. Traders forex crisis. Traders lose as naira rebounds to 720 to the dollar. Traders lose as naira rebounds to 720 to the dollar. It's quite interesting. I'm sure we need to point out that that is a black market or parallel market rate, which the papers have decided to focus on. I don't know why. 11 Dias Kogi protesters barricade road with tanker. My God, and there's some pictures there on the front page. We'll take a few more from this paper. Woman plunges into lagoon after argument with fiancé. I'm sure that should be the one that happened yesterday on the 3rd Mainland Bridge in Lagos. So look at some other papers, stories as we go on. And I'd like at this point to bring in our guest this morning, Mr. Jide Johnson, Senior Lecturer, Nigerian Institute of Journalism. Jide Johnson, what are your thoughts on the attacks that INEC has recorded as captured by the Daily Trust, 47 incidents in 33 months. This is coming on the heels of, I'm sure they planned this meeting before yesterday's attack in Ogun State and the recent one in their office in Osun State as well.
Thousand PVC burnt. That means 66,000 voters have been disenfranchised through the inability of the INEC to secure its critical infrastructure. I think that INEC should understand that this election cannot be done in isolation. There is a need for collaborative effort of INEC and other security agencies for them to work together as a team and not to work independently. Like Mercy pointed out, this shouldn't come as a surprise to INEC. And from the data you read out, 47 incidents in 33 months is enough indication for INEC to raise the red alert concerning how to protect and preserve the critical infrastructure with respect to the election. So INEC must work with the security team day and night, 247, to ensure that we can secure our election. That's the only thing Nigeria requires and deserves from INEC, considering the budgetary allocation. If you check the budget for INEC in the since the advent of this democratic experience, or what I'll call experiment, you'll be shocked at the amount of money we have voted for INEC over the years. Monies that are not audited, monies that are voted year in, year out, election cycle or no election cycle. So that some of us have come up with the opinion that probably we should just let go of INEC and we just let go of the elected representative. This money we have voted for INEC, we should just share this money to Nigerians and let whoever wants to be president, and let whoever wants to become governor, become governor. Because the election itself sometimes lacks transparency, lacks integrity, and the process is sometimes corrupted. However, if you try that, you have a state of chaos, a state of anarchy, and you have a state of perpetual disorder. So our advice to INEC is for INEC to work with the security agencies, work as a team, and protect the critical infrastructure of INEC. That's when we can only have truly representative and democratic government.
Well, Jide Johnson, let's quickly look at the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, and it's concerned about the federal government closely monitoring Twitter as Elon Musk takes over.
Even Joe Biden and the American Congress couldn't do anything with Elon Musk taking over. Don't forget that the American economy is built on the principle of capitalism. It's based on the principle of free market. So I don't know what federal government is monitoring. Instead of federal government of monitoring the monetary policy and the fiscal policy of Nigeria, they are busy monitoring Twitter. They are not telling us how they are monitoring the exchange rate to ensure you have a fixed exchange rate, not a fluctuating exchange rate, which is not good for trade, which is not good for business, which is not good for the economic growth or confidence in foreign investors in investing in your economy. What government should be doing is to ensure that we have one singular rate when it comes to the exchange rate for Naira, not having a parallel market rate and then having the official. That's what government should be monitoring. Government not be monitoring Twitter, which is a private business, which is a social media company. And what's the investment or what's the interest of government in an attempt to manage or control or monitor free flow of information? As far as I'm concerned, it's a misplaced priority. What the priority of government should be on how to ensure security of Nigerians, how to secure our economy by having a fixed exchange rate that does not fluctuate, that does not change.
But Jide Johnson,
like second government.
Jide, what about the issue of fake news? On Twitter, do you think that the government should not be concerned?
Let's see. There's nothing like fake news. If it is fake, it is not news. News is news. That's simple. And what you might have is disinformation and misinformation, and that's as characterized human nature. In the days of journalism, when print journalism first evolved, we have what is called yellow journalism. Over time, people tend to trust. Don't forget that the word press and the word media represent the people. The word press, mass media represent the people. Over time, people tend to trust what they trust. They tend to believe what they believe in. They don't think Now, how many people do you think that take what they see on social media, hook, line, and sinker in 2020, in 2022, like say in 2019, like say in 2017? Over time, people become conscious of the credibility and which medium to rely on when it comes to sourcing for news. I think sometimes in an attempt to control the media, the establishment, the authority raise the tension. You see, attempts have been made by government over time. That was what led to Hutchinson Commission to talk about what should be the role of the media in the society. That's where you have the theories of the press. So as far as what should be the roles of and responsibility of the press, it's just a matter of time. The press determine, define how it should operate. Don't forget, there is a particular story which you read when you are reading out the outline that talks about people in the industry, in the media industry, coming together to look at how they can ensure best practices in industry. You see, the best way for the media is self-regulation, not government regulation. Government cannot regulate the media. It is self-regulation, and that self-regulation comes from the people that use the media, comes from the people that operate the media. And excuse me, please. It's just a matter of time. The people know who to trust. They know the medium to trust. While we are growing up, when you read a story in Soft Cell magazine, do you take the stories hook, line, and sinker? When I read stories like in Ecomium, in City People, and the rest of it. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just government raising hysteria in an attempt to control the free flow of information, and they label everything fake news. I ask you this question: what is fake news?
You said
Can anybody define what is fake news to me?
Okay, Jide Johnson, let's quickly move forward. It's an interesting one. You as a journalism lecturer, you are well poised in the position to talk authoritatively about that. On the front page of the Nation newspaper, you have the paper telling us the latest with the People's Democratic Party, which is, I think, a story that is always dear to our hearts as we cover what's happening in that party as the Nation brings it up for us. It says Atiku is optimistic of a truce with G5 governors. This is saying that the PDP Presidential Campaign Organization has not foreclosed hope. Its 5 aggrieved governors, probably known as G5, will back down on the decision not to join the campaign train of the candidate of the party, Atiku Abubakar. I'm sure this is feeding off what Nyesom Wike said after visiting Bala Mohammed on Wednesday.
Well, I think that it's just initially people thought that this movement was a movement for selfish interest, was a movement of Wike not realizing his presidential ambition. However, the dogged determination, the cooperation and the collaboration of the G5 governor has demonstrated something to the contrary. Also, if you look at the PDP state rally in Makurdi, whereby all the elected representatives of PDP were present, with the exception of the national chairman, who happens to come from New State, that's enough signal to tell you that something is wrong. And they say charity begins at home. So if the national chairman of the party, who happens to be the centerpiece or center focus of this major crisis, could not attend the state PDP rally where all the candidates are there, then you know something is wrong. Then we go to what Asha, in one of Asha's song, where she says there's fire on the mountain, and then the earlier they quench the fire, the better is for everybody to come under the umbrella. As long as there is fire under the umbrella, I'm sure everybody will run for refuge, and the center of PDP cannot hold. So it is in best interest of the presidential candidate to look whose interest is at stake. Is it the interest of the national chairman, or is it his own interest of becoming the president of the Federal Republic? So I think the larger picture should guide PDP in doing whatever they want to do. However, it is their decision. It is not for us to decide for them. Ours is just to advise them on what to do, and theirs is to take it, to accept or not to accept. But if that is not done, we recall what happened in 2015. We have the G5 and later the G7 governors from PDP going to APC. And that's what marked the end of PDP's reign for 16 years in Nigeria in 2015.
On the Punch newspaper, there's this issue about, the ANCOS borrowers program. The farmers are kicking against it, but, the Central Bank of Nigeria seem to be excited and appraising this. I'd like to share your thoughts. Do you probably know anyone who's been part of the ANCOS borrowers program?
When you do policies, is the policy for PR or is the policy for you to achieve a better goal? And then when you get feedback from the beneficiaries of this policy, then it calls for you to do, because no matter whatever program you do, you require feedback, and that feedback enables you to do three things, which we talk about when it comes to evaluation: monitoring, measuring, and modifying. Now, you have monitored, you have measured, and then if there's a need for you to modify your programs to be in line with the beneficiaries, the direct users of the program, then you need to do that. What government needs to do is for them not to sit in Abuja or to sit in their respective office and think that whatever policies they come up with, the template they design, will work. They need feedback from the end users, from the beneficiary, and that itself will help them to fine-tune the program in such a way that it becomes very, very effective. However, we have a situation whereby civil servants, technocrats, public servants, thinks they know better than the people. And the Western world tried this when they tried to think that development will trickle down, that the problem of closing the gap between the first world and the third world is for them to pump money into Africa, is for them to design this type of program until they understood that development cannot trickle down. People must have a buy-in. They must be involved as stakeholders in the project for you to achieve meaningful development. That development does not come from the top. Development comes from the people, and the people, once they have a buy in it, then you have success in your developmental programming. This is the situation with this. The actual people, the executors, the beneficiaries are the farmer.
Okay, Jide Johnson, because of time, let's quickly take the last story, and this is it's really, really heart-wrenching. Yesterday when I saw it, it made me so sad. Lagos State government informing the public that a lady had plunged, thrown herself, dived into the Lagos Lagoon off the 3rd mainland bridge. And this morning, the papers have some more details from that. We'll look at the Punch and its take on this story, because it's given reasons that we didn't know yesterday existed for this action by this lady, and a yet to be identified lady who reportedly jumped from the 3rd mainland bridge into the lagoon. The Lagos State government has said, according to the Punch, that efforts to rescue her were unsuccessful. We told she's in her mid-30s and was said to have alighted from a taxi after a heated argument with her fiancé and headed for the railing of the bridge and scaled into the lagoon. It's really sad. Jide Johnson, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think government this has become a recurrent feature. We need to police that area very well. We need to police that area. That for the lady, I think that there's anything that could happen to you that could make you to take your life. You could see that different stroke for different folks. As she's jumping into the lagoon because she's having an argument with her fiancé, the Onion of Ife is busy marrying. There's a particular story, since you have gone to human interest story, and there's a particular story about the Onion and his women. So here we have a young lady jumping into the lagoon because of a man, and here we have 6 women clinging to the rope of a particular man. My advice to any young lady or any young person out there is that there's no relationship, no matter how bad the relationship is, that will warrant you taking your life. Once there is hope, there is life. Now, if you just take your life, you have just ended your journey. The person will continue with his life. I end with this particular song by Inde Barrister that said, someone that dies because of a woman will surely, more than 1,000 women will pass through where he dies. So it's editorial. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not worth it for you to take your life because of a sore relationship. If someone should leave you, it means the person is not good enough for you, and then something better will surely come.
Jide Johnson, thank you so much for that. Would definitely have a time to talk more about suicide because it has become a very common phenomenon in our society. And looking at the laws against it, because when you say you find someone who's about to take their life and then you have to arrest them, they have to do a jail term. Does that even solve the problem? But like I mentioned earlier on,
counseling, we need to be counseled. Someone that has taken to suicide as the last option needs counseling, not to be arrested and jailed. You know, there are some things that we just use this, I don't know whether iron and fist or iron and hammer approach to it. It's just pure counseling. Such people need to be counseled.
yes.
Because if they know better, they wouldn't take the last option.
Absolutely correct, Jide Johnson. It's a very touchy one. We'll
have to
leave
go
it at
now.
that, and I will say thank you for your time and for addressing this in the best way possible.
Well,
it's still the breakfast on PlusTvAfrica. Merci, glad to say.
Of course, would like to say that no matter what happens, please don't take your life. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Just hang in there and try to be, that support system for the people around you. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll dive straight to our first major conversation right here. Please stay with us.